Welcome to Echoes of the Lost audiobook, where forgotten stories come to life. Dive into worlds of mystery, survival, and the unknown. If you enjoy our stories, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with our latest audiobooks. Chap 72, Deep Earth and Living Pulse. Ryder knelt in the cold stone cave beneath the gas forge, his right hand setting the new spear on the jagged stone floor, his eyes sweeping the colossal steel monster's corpse from Chap 71, over 10 meters tall, four scythe-like legs collapsed, gray metal and stone armor now still, black blood pooled on rock, red eyes extinguished. The fire from black thorn mushrooms and spider webs flickered weakly, black smoke thinning, blending with green mushroom glow on the walls, illuminating the cave, sweet vine sap sent from their wrapped arms, sharp thorn mushroom smoke, wet earth from purple flowers, and cool vapor from silver twigs near their chests lingered in the damp, heavy air. A new sound emerged, a faint drip, like slow water, emanating from the stone crack deep in the cave, where the monster's white smoke once poured. Near the crack, a new plant grew, soft red moss, clinging to damp stone, glowing faintly red when touched, a mild salty earth scent rising, distinct from prior mushrooms or vines. White spiders wove thin webs around the red moss, gray thorn worms slithered nearby, their pale yellow acid still on the corpse, and a few green hammer beetles scattered across the floor. Stone shards fell lightly from the ceiling, rolling echoes from the crack grew clearer post-battle, like a pulse of the gas forge stirring. Lena sat beside him, her left hand tightening the vine around her shoulder, her weary but sharp eyes watching, her right hand resting her old crude spear, breathing slowly. Torin sat by the wall, supporting Mira, the young girl inhaling deeply, her pale face showing curiosity at the red moss, her hand holding a glowing mushroom to light more. Kalia knelt near the corpse, her heavy mace set down, her gaze fixed on the red moss and thorn worms, her left hand picking a moss scrap, checking its red glow. The deep cave beneath the gas forge was a new ecosystem, red moss, thorn mushrooms, vines, silver twigs, spiders, hammer beetles, thorn worms offering survival chances, if explored right. He pulled the Seraphim device from his bag, its red light blinking steadily, the small screen showing a curt message, Archive, Ryder, Living Pulse is data. Harness deep earth to live, or sink in cold stone, the trial demands discovery. The words echoed in his mind, cold and clear, suggesting this deep cave, with red moss and dripping sound, was a fresh test, forcing them to use the ecosystem to persist. He opened his notebook, its pages damp, his fingers brushing the rough surface as he wrote slowly, Day 57 North, below gas forge. Archive Phase 4, Deep Cave, Red Moss, Dripping Water. He paused, his dark brown eyes narrowing in the green glow, listening to the drip, like water trickling through stone, mixed with rolling stone and faint red moss glow when touched. Living Pulse is data, he muttered, his low, hoarse voice blending with the water, they want us to live from this deep earth. He inhaled the damp air deeply, analyzing, red moss glowed and held water, dripping could be drinkable, vines warmed, silver twigs cooled, thorn mushrooms smoked, thorn worms broke armor, a complete ecosystem in the gas forge. Lena turned to him, her left hand touching the red moss on the wall, soft, wet, red light flaring under her fingers, a faint salty earth scent rising. You hear that? She asked, her voice rough, standing slowly, her spear aimed at the crack where the dripping came from. Water, drinkable? This moss, usable? She took a damp breath, frowning as the moss's saltiness drifted by, her gaze sweeping the moss and crack, seeking more survival signs. Ryder nodded, crouching by the red moss, his right hand setting the spear down, his left picking a scrap, soft, moist, red light faint when squeezed, water dripping from it, no toxic scent. Red moss, holds water, Lights up, he said, his voice low but certain, grabbing a thorn worm from the floor. Pale yellow acid oozed when squeezed. He dipped it in moss, struck 2 metal bits, sparks flew, moss didn't burn but glowed redder, like a chemical boost. Water, might drink, moss boosts light. He scribbled fast in his notebook, red moss light plus water, thorn worms react, drink plus guide. He turned to the group, his voice clear, deep cave gives us, red moss for light and water, vines to warm, silver twigs to cool, mushroom smoke, worms to break. Rest, take water, hear the rolling. Torin sat Mira down, his cloudy eyes flickering with surprise as he sensed red light from nearby moss. This moss glows? He asked, his voice slow, his arm tight around Mira, as if wanting her to test more. Mira took a deep breath, the damp air sharpening her eyes brightening as she touched the red moss, soft, wet, red light flared, water dripped when squeezed. Moss, like a living lamp, she whispered, her voice faint but keen, picking a thorn worm, dipping its yellow fluid in moss, red light flared brighter, outshining glowing mushrooms. Worms, make it glow more. Kalia stood, her heavy mace aside, her gaze sweeping the walls. Red moss grew thick near the crack, vines mingled, silver twigs scattered. Moss, unlike mushrooms, she said, her voice soft but sharp, crouching to pick a red moss scrap, squeezing, water dripped, red light flashed. Water, clean? She frowned, turning to Ryder, her eyes curious but trusting, gathering more moss and thorn worms, ready to test water. Ryder nodded, taking Kalia's moss, squeezing hard, water dripped more. He placed a silver twig near, water cooled further when touched, then dipped moss in thorn mushroom fire, black smoke rose, red light still flared, moss unburned. Water's clean, moss holds, light's long, he said, his voice low, analyzing fast. Red moss supplied water and light, vines warmed, silver twigs cooled, thorn worms enhanced, enough to rest and prepare. Take water, use moss to guide, live from this. He wrote slowly in his notebook, red moss water plus light, worms boost, vine heat, deep cave survival. He turned to the group, his voice taut, living pulse is strength, take water, light with moss, be ready to move. Rollings closer. The Seraphim device buzzed hard, its red light flashing faster, and the cold, deep voice crackled through, Ryder, living pulse is new data. Deep earth gives life, cold stone takes it, trial doesn't stop. The voice cut off, but the dripping from the crack sharpened, joined by louder rolling stone, like something approaching from the gas forge's deep cave. Ryder froze, his eyes widening, his chest tightening at the human tone. The Seraphim used this ecosystem to test discovery, forcing them to live by Earth's pulse. He wrote quickly, his hands shaky, human voice, red moss plus water, roll plus drip, new trial. He turned to the group, his voice firm, deep cave pushes us, use moss, take water, be ready to fight. Rest, then go. Lena grabbed red moss, squeezing water into her hand, cool, her eyes flashing with resolve, wrapping more vine around her shoulder to warm. Water, enough to rest, she said, her voice low, inhaling purple flower earthiness, her gaze fierce despite fatigue, ready to press on. Torin sat Mira near the red moss, his voice trembling, living pulse, real? Mira looked up, her weary eyes sharp, picking glowing mushrooms and red moss, squeezing water, red light shone clearer. Moss guides us, she whispered, her voice faint but steadfast, sharing moss with the group. Kalia squeezed red moss, collecting water in her hand, red light flaring, she wrapped webbing around her mace, preparing. Rolling, near, she said, her voice soft, gripping her mace, her gaze on the crack, poised for the monster. Ryder wrapped vines around his arm, squeezed red moss for water, red and mushroom light illuminating the cave, the drip blended with rolling stone, a shadow loomed, slow but heavy. "Prepare," he said, his voice low, the group closing ranks, the living pulse of deep earth their strength against the gas forge. Chap 73, Shattered Stone and Red Light. Ryder stood in the cold stone cave beneath the gas forge, his right hand gripping the new spear, his eyes locked on the massive shadow deep in the stone crack, nearly 11 meters tall, a living stone mass, clad in thick, cracked gray stone armor, 8 short but sturdy pillar-like legs, a round head with small holes leaking red water, pale white eyes glowing faintly through the green glow of mushrooms on the walls. Red light from the red moss in Chap 72 flared on the stone floor, blending with mushroom light, dimly illuminating the monster. It roared, a deep stone-shattering sound echoing, trembling the floor hard, stone falling thicker from the ceiling like deep earth awakening. The air was damp and heavy, carrying sweet vine sap from their wrapped arms, sharp remnant thorn mushroom smoke, salty earth from red moss, and cool vapor from silver twigs near their chests. The dripping water from the crack now mixed with the roar, while white spiders wove thin webs on the walls, gray thorn worms slithered near red moss, and a new creature emerged, brown stone grubs, hard-bodied, 1 meter long, crawling slowly from the crack, their backs studded with sharp stone spines, leaking white powder when threatened, a dry scent like grinding rock. Lena stood beside him, her left hand tightening the vine around her shoulder, her sharp eyes aiming at the monster's legs, short but with visible cracks, her right hand gripping her old crude spear, her breaths tense. Torin knelt near the wall, supporting Mira, the young girl squeezing red moss. Red light flared, igniting more thorn mushrooms, black smoke rising, her weary eyes resolute. Kalia stood to Ryder's right, her heavy mace raised, her gaze fixed on the monster's head, red water holes leaking steadily, her hand tightening on the haft, ready to swing. The deep cave beneath the gas forge was a trembling arena, red moss light, thorn mushroom smoke, warm vines, silver twigs, thorn worms, and stone grubs their weapons against the stone beast from the seraphim. He pulled the seraphim device from his bag, its red light blinking fast, the small screen showing a curt message, "Archive, Ryder, shattered stone is data. Break dead stone with living light, or be buried by it, the trial doesn't stop." The words echoed in his mind, cold and clear, confirming this stone-clad, red water-leaking monster was the next test, demanding they use light and life to win. He opened his notebook, its pages damp, his fingers brushing the rough surface as he wrote slowly, Day 58 North, below gas forge. Archive Phase 4, Stone Monster, red moss plus stone grubs to fight? He paused, his dark brown eyes narrowing through red light, analyzing the monster, taller than before, armor tough but cracked, white eyes light-sensitive, red water possibly toxic or a weak point. "Shattered stone is data," he muttered, his low, hoarse voice blending with the roar, "they want us to break it with living light." He inhaled the damp air deeply, analyzing, red moss illuminated and exposed, thorn mushroom smoke blinded, vines could bind, silver twigs cooled, thorn worms corroded, stone grubs might shatter with powder. Lena turned to him, her left hand squeezing a red moss scrap, red light flared, illuminating the monster's legs through smoke, her eyes flashing with resolve. "You see it?" she asked, her voice rough, crouching, her spear aimed at a leg crack through red light. "It leaks water, cracks exposed, can we stab them?" She took a smoky breath, frowning as dry stone grub scent drifted by, her gaze locked on the white eyes, her hand gripping her spear, poised to charge. Ryder nodded, standing tall, his right hand gripping the new spear, his eyes sweeping the monster. It advanced, each step trembling the floor, red water dripping from its head, but red light slowed it, white eyes blinking fast, irritated. Red light exposes it, he said, his voice low but certain, analyzing fast. The narrow cave limited legs, red moss light revealed cracks, thorn mushroom smoke hid, stone grubs shattered. Target cracks and head, use grubs to help. He scribbled fast in his notebook. Monster 11M, red water, red light irritates, grubs plus smoke to break. He turned to the group, his voice clear, coordinate, red moss lights, smoke hides, grubs crack, vines bind. Mira, keep red light, Kalia, head, Lena, legs, I'll hit eyes. Torin pressed Mira against the wall, his cloudy eyes flickering with fear as the monster roared again, the floor shaking harder, stone raining down. Stone breaking like this, can we hold? He asked, his voice shaky, his hand tight on Mira's shoulder. Mira took a smoky breath, squeezing red moss hard, red light blazed, igniting more thorn mushrooms, black smoke rising, illuminating the monster through mushroom glow. Red light, shows it, she whispered, her voice faint but keen, picking a stone grub, squeezing, white powder puffed out, dry scent rising, lightly cracking nearby stone. Grubs, break stone. Kalia lunged, her heavy mace raised, her eyes locked on the monster's head, red water holes leaking steadily in black smoke. Head first, she said, her voice soft but sharp, yanking a vine from the wall, wrapping it around her mace, dipping stone grub powder, swinging hard into the water holes. A sharp stone crack rang out, powder fracturing stone, the vine clinging, the monster roaring, head jerking back, front legs stomping off target through smoke. She dodged back, taking a smoky breath, her eyes tense but focused. Ryder leapt in, his right hand grabbing a stone grub, squeezing white powder onto his spear tip, igniting it with thorn mushrooms. Red fire flared in black smoke, he hurled it at the monster's left eye, powder cracked stone, fire caught, black smoke thickening, it bellowed, red water leaking harder but red light dimming its white eyes, middle leg stomping aimlessly. He retreated, spear aimed, shouting, legs, Lena, now. He analyzed, red light irritated, smoke blinded, fire on eyes opened a shot, grubs cracked, vines bound. Lena charged, her old crude spear thrusting at the front leg crack through black smoke, the tip pierced, grub powder smeared earlier shattering more, black blood spurting as it roared, front leg buckling, claws stomping again, but she dodged, retreating, her left hand clutching her aching shoulder, her eyes blazing. Hit it, she hissed through gritted teeth, her voice rough, standing firm despite smoke. Mira squeezed red moss faster, igniting more thorn mushrooms, black smoke surged, red light illuminating the monster, it retreated, white eyes blinking rapidly, heavily irritated. Red light, it's blind, she whispered, her voice faint but steadfast, tossing thorn worms into the fire, yellow acid mixed with smoke, the monster roaring weaker, red water slowing. Worms, weaken it. Kalia seized the chance, lunging again, vine-wrapped mace dipped in grub powder smashing the right eye, a louder stone crack echoed, the monster thrashed, powder eating deep, vines tightening around its head, right eye dimming, tremors fading. Eye again, she shouted softly, retreating, her gaze on its still legs. Ryder leapt in, his new spear stabbing deep into the cracked left eye, the tip plunged through, fire from grub powder and thorn mushrooms flaring, black blood gushing as it thrashed, then stilled, white eyes dimming in black smoke and red light. He stood frozen, breathing hard, his gaze sweeping the group, all safe, but drained. Done, he said, his voice low, scribbling fast in his notebook, monster down, red light plus smoke hit eyes, grubs broke, trial passed. The Seraphim device buzzed hard, its red light flashing fast, and the cold, deep voice crackled through, Ryder, shattered stone is living data. Living light beats dead stone, the next trial lies deeper. The voice cut off, but rolling stone echoed again from the crack, stronger, like a new threat. Ryder frowned, his chest tightening at the human tone. The Seraphim used stone monsters to test adaptation, and they weren't done. He turned to the group, his voice taut, "They want deeper, rest, keep moss, stay ready." Lena dropped to one knee, hand on her shoulder, her eyes flashing with fatigue but defiance. "Red light, one," she echoed, her voice low, squeezing red moss to light more, her gaze piercing the crack ahead. Torin held Mira, his voice trembling, "Deeper still?" Mira looked up, her weary eyes sharp, squeezing red moss and glowing mushrooms, red light flaring. "Moss and smoke, we did it," she whispered, her voice faint but determined. Kalia stood by the monster's corpse, her heavy mace lowered, her gaze on the crack. "Stone rolling, again," she said, her voice soft, gathering more red moss and stone grubs, ready when needed. Ryder eyed the red moss light and black smoke, then the group. They'd won with living light, but the gas forge kept testing. "Deeper," he said, his voice low, leading them through smoke, the cold stone cave awaiting. Chap 74, Red Flow and Living Stone. Ryder knelt in the cold stone cave beneath the gas forge, his right hand setting the new spear on the jagged stone floor, his eyes sweeping the colossal stone monster's corpse from Chap 73, nearly 11 meters tall, 8 pillar-like legs collapsed, cracked gray stone armor now still, black blood dried on rock, red water from its head pooling, white eyes extinguished. Red light from red moss flickered weakly, blending with green mushroom glow on the walls, illuminating the cave. Black thorn mushroom smoke thinned, leaving sweet vine sap sent from their wrapped arms, dry stone grub powder, salty earth from red moss, and cool vapor from silver twigs near their chests. A new sound arose, a soft gurgle, like flowing water, emanating from the stone crack deep in the cave, where the monster's red water once leaked. Near the crack, a new creature appeared, small gray stone fish, 20 centimeters long, swimming in the vivid red flow from the crack, their metallic scales glinting, hard as stone, tails leaking golden oil when moving, a faint fishy scent rising. Red moss grew thick around the flow, black thorn mushrooms scattered nearby, white spiders wove thin webs, thorn worms and stone grubs crawled slowly across the floor. Stone shards fell lightly from the ceiling, rolling echoes from the crack grew stronger post-battle, like the deep cave of the gas forge expanding. Lena sat beside him, her left hand tightening the vine around her shoulder, her weary but sharp eyes watching, her right hand resting her old crude spear, breathing slowly. Torin sat by the wall, supporting Mira, the young girl inhaling deeply, her pale face showing curiosity at the stone fish, her hand holding red moss to light more. Kalia knelt near the corpse, her heavy mace set down, her gaze fixed on the red flow and stone fish, her left hand picking a moss scrap, checking its red glow. The deep cave beneath the gas forge was a vibrant ecosystem, red flow, stone fish, red moss, thorn mushrooms, vines, silver twigs offering new survival chances, if harnessed right. He pulled the Seraphim device from his bag, its red light blinking steadily, the small screen showing a curt message, "Archive, Ryder, red flow is data. Use living stone to cross dead earth, or be drowned by it, the trial demands exploitation." The words echoed in his mind, cold and clear, suggesting this deep cave, with red flow and stone fish, was a new test, forcing them to exploit life to proceed. He opened his notebook, its pages damp, his fingers brushing the rough surface as he wrote slowly, Day 59 North, below gas forge. Archive Phase 4, Deep Cave, Red Flow, Stone Fish. He paused, his dark brown eyes narrowing in the red light, listening to the gurgle, like water flowing through stone, mixed with rolling stone and faint fish movement. Red flow is data, he muttered, his low, hoarse voice blending with the water. They want us to live from this stone. He inhaled the damp air deeply, analyzing. Red flow might be toxic or energetic. Stone fish oil burned, red moss lit, vines warmed, silver twigs cooled, thorn mushrooms smoked, a potent ecosystem in the gas forge. Lena turned to him, her left hand touching the red flow near the crack, cold, red moss light reflecting on her hand, fishy stone fish scent rising. "You hear that?" she asked, her voice rough, standing slowly, her spear aimed at the flow where fish swam. "This water, poison or usable? Those fish, burnable?" She took a damp breath, frowning as fish oil scent stung her nose, her gaze sweeping the red flow and fish, seeking more signs to exploit. Ryder nodded, crouching by the flow, his right hand setting the spear down, his left picking a stone fish from the red water, hard, metallic scales, golden oil oozing when squeezed, fishy scent mixing with burning oil. "Red flow, might be toxic, fish burn," he said, his voice low but certain, dipping fish oil in a thorn mushroom, striking two metal bits, sparks flew, oil ignited strong, burning bright gold longer than mushrooms, radiating heat. "Fish oil, boosts fire, brighter." He scribbled fast in his notebook, "Red flow, stone fish oil burns, water plus fire." He turned to the group, his voice clear, "Deep cave gives us, stone fish for fire, red moss to light, vines to warm, silver twigs to cool, mushroom smoke. Rest, craft, hear the rolling." Torin sat Mira down, his cloudy eyes flickering with surprise at the golden light from fish oil nearby. "These fish, burn?" he asked, his voice slow, his arm tight around Mira, as if wanting her to analyze more. Mira took a deep breath, the damp air sharpening her eyes brightening as she touched the red flow. Cold, she picked a stone fish, squeezed golden oil, dipped it in a thorn mushroom, struck metal, golden fire flared, outshining red moss. "Oil, lights long," she whispered, her voice faint but keen, wrapping webbing around a silver twig, cool and tougher. "Webs, bind fish well." Kalia stood, her heavy mace aside, her gaze sweeping the crack. Red flow ran steady, stone fish swam sparsely, red moss thickened. "Fish, unlike worms," she said, her voice soft but sharp, crouching to pick a stone fish, squeezing golden oil, testing with a thorn mushroom, golden fire burned strong, fishy oil scent rising. "Oil, heats more." She frowned, turning to Ryder, her eyes curious but trusting, pulling webbing, wrapping her mace, preparing to bind fish. Ryder nodded, taking Kalia's fish, squeezing golden oil, dipping it in webbing, igniting, golden fire surged, brighter, radiating strong heat, webs holding it longer. "Fish oil, bright and hot," he said, his voice low, analyzing fast, "stone fish fueled strong fire, red moss guided, vines warmed, silver twigs cooled, thorn mushrooms smoked, enough to rest and craft weapons. Use fish to burn, moss to lead, live from this." He wrote slowly in his notebook, "Stone fish oil burns, red moss lights, webs plus fire, craft for deep cave." He turned to the group, his voice taut, "Red flow is life, burn fish, light with moss, be ready to move." Rolling stronger. The Seraphim device buzzed hard, its red light flashing faster, and the cold, deep voice crackled through, "Ryder, red flow is new data. Living stone gives life, dead earth takes it, trial doesn't stop." The voice cut off, but the gurgling from the crack sharpened, joined by louder rolling stone, like something approaching from the gas forge's deep cave. Ryder froze, his eyes widening, his chest tightening at the human tone, the seraphim used red flow and life to test exploitation, forcing them to live by living stone. He wrote quickly, his hands shaky, human voice, stone fish plus oil, roll plus gurgle, new trial? He turned to the group, his voice firm, deep cave pushes us, use fish, burn fire, be ready to fight. Rest, then go. Lena grabbed a stone fish, squeezing golden oil into webbing, her eyes flashing with resolve, igniting, golden light flared, warmth from vine spreading. Oil, lights us, she said, her voice low, inhaling purple flower earthiness, her gaze fierce despite fatigue, ready to press on. Torin sat Mira near red moss, his voice trembling, red flow, what is it? Mira looked up, her weary eyes sharp, picking red moss and stone fish, burning oil, golden light shone clearer. Fish, guide us, she whispered, her voice faint but steadfast, sharing webs with the group. Kalia pulled webbing, wrapping her mace, squeezing stone fish oil, igniting, golden light surged, illuminating the cave brighter. Rolling, near, she said, her voice soft, gripping her mace, her gaze on the crack, poised for the monster. Ryder wrapped vines around his arm, squeezed stone fish for oil, burned golden fire, red moss and gold lit the cave, the gurgle blending with rolling stone, a shadow loomed, slow but heavy. Prepare, he said, his voice low, the group closing ranks, red flow and living stone their strength against the gas forge.